Troy Public Radio, I'm Tim Phillips, and this is Clarinet Corner. Today on the show, I have a guest who's one of the most active clarinetists in the world. He is the clarinet professor at Colorado State University, and he will be one of the hosts of ClarinetFest 2023, which is a giant project for him, and his name's Wesley Ferreira. Wesley, thank you for being on the show today.
Well, I'm happy to be here, Tim. Thank you for the invitation.
It's great to talk to you. Now, during COVID, I was thinking about so many things and thinking I was mournful for the experience because I wasn't getting to see my students in person. I wasn't getting to play concerts. But there were times when I thought, there's great art being created during this space. And when it's over, I'm going to get to experience that art, whether it be a book or a movie or a CD. And I believe this CD may have been a product of that time, your new CD, Into the Green. Is that true?
Yeah, it very much was. When the pandemic hit, I think we all remember, at least in the United States, March 2020, where everything shut down. Musicians, we all faced a world where public and private music making for others was forbidden. Yeah. And there was an unknown future ahead, right, for musicians and for everyone and their family. And so during that time, art really became my solace. I really doubled down and connected again with all sorts of art and nature. And I really had to think about the clarinet's role in my life at that point. And this project immediately came to mind, which is I'd been thinking about recording a solo album, just myself alone, works for clarinet and electronics and clarinet unaccompanied. And I realized this was something I could control during that time. I could record this here at Colorado State University. I didn't have to have anyone else in the room. The producer and the recording engineer would be in their booth. And so it was something that I was excited about. It was something that I could do during that time. And then as this idea evolved for me throughout the summer of 2020, the pieces that I selected really reflected both how I was thinking and also what was happening in the world. And it really is a genesis of that time, this project.
Yeah, I really enjoyed listening to this recording, and some of the composers I had heard of, some not. And the title track of this CD is called Into the Green, and it's by a clarinetist and composer named Alexei Gorelinsky. And I was not familiar with him, and I looked him up on YouTube. He's a fine clarinetist and a very interesting guy. And talk a little bit about this piece, Into the Green, and what, because we're going to do some listening. I want our listeners to know what they're going to hear.
Yeah, well, I've known about him for many years, over 10 years, partly through his project where he himself composed music for clarinet and electronics, and he's actually a really talented composer and also DJ. I don't believe he continues that to this day, but at that time, he writes really great EDM music, electronic dance music, and he combined the clarinet with that style of music, which when I first heard, I was completely taken by. It is so different, and I'm just generally intrigued with anything in the art world and the music world that is different. Yeah, I immediately recognize that and take to it. So this piece, Into the Green, is a piece that he composed for clarinet and electronics, and it's something that I'm sure most listeners have never heard anything like this, a clarinet kind of in the electronic dance music realm. And this was a great title track to the album because during that time, and as I was thinking about what pieces to include on this album, I was really struck by how much things slowed down during the beginning part of the pandemic. We live in a world that's so fast-paced, where the demands on our time and the use of electronic devices and technology is so high. But it seemed like during that time, it was an opportunity to get back into nature, and I did that very much. And I, all around my neighborhood and where I live, just tons of people taking advantage of being outside and walking outside and really connecting into nature. And so this entire album is a juxtaposition of pieces with electronics that are generally kind of fast-paced, and then music that is much slower and more reflective. And so Into the Green has this the title of, I think, what a lot of us did during that time, which is going into nature and going back into maybe how humans have been historically in history, which is more in touch with nature. But of course, this piece, as you'll hear, is pretty fast paced.
Absolutely. And when you mentioned nature, I lived in Colorado for a while I was studying there, and there are very few places as beautiful as that state. And so I can totally resonate with the concept of being outside and being in that beautiful place. So let's listen to the title track of your CD. This is called Into the Green, and it's a composition by Alexei Gorolinsky, and the clarinetist here is Wesley Ferreira. That was Into the Green by Alexei Gorolinsky, performed by Wesley Ferreira. Now, Wesley, some pieces with electronics or pre-recorded sounds, sometimes when you play into a computer, you can have it set up so that the computer responds to what you're playing. And other times you're playing like with a pre-recorded sound and then you just work your sound into that. What was actually the case with this particular piece?
So with this particular piece, as with all the clarinet electronic pieces in this album, it is a matter of the clarinets playing with the pre-recorded track. Mm-hmm. So there isn't much interaction and communication. And those pieces are wonderful. And I like the I guess the sense of control that you have with a piece like this, where you know exactly what's going to happen when, and then it allows me as the performer to really think about how I can play with what's happening there, knowing that it's going to be a constant. So yeah, that's how that piece was.
Yeah, and it's kind of an interesting chamber music in a way, because you get to try to match your sound to the pre-recorded sounds, or maybe not match your sound depending on what you're trying to do with the piece. So it's an interesting situation for sure, and I think it's one that my students, and I'm sure yours too, really like to have that experience. I have students who want to play this kind of music, and in fact, when I have the show here, Clarinet Corner, we have played in the past this clarinetist Yam. Do you know Yam?
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, very much.
And he plays klezmer music mixed with all sorts of other cultural music, and it's mixed with electronics, and it's a little offbeat maybe for what we normally play in Clarinet Corner, but we always get a good response when we play his music. So I think this forward-thinking new idea is something that really resonates with modern audiences. I think their ears are ready for it, and their minds are open to it. So I think it's a really great thing. The next track we're going to listen to is just part of this track, and it's called Sapphire Song by a composer named Donald Stephen. Tell me a bit about this work.
So this work is, I've known since I was 19 years old. It was introduced to me in my first year of undergraduate studies. It's Donald Stephen's a Canadian composer, and I was born in Canada, born and raised, and of Portuguese descent, so Portuguese Canadian. And this is a piece that was introduced to me early, and it stayed with me my entire life. It's a work that is based on the shakuhachi flute tradition in Japan. So this is the second piece on the album. It is in contrast to the first work, Into the Green, and I think the listeners will hear how much of a contrast it is. I added, with the composer's permission and discussion, some bird sounds to the backing of this piece, and I think it adds so much. And as I was in nature during this time of the pandemic, the sound of birds and birds themselves became really something that I connected to, and it works really well with the piece. So this work is composed in a way that's very free for the performers, and honestly, every time I perform this in public, you can hear a pin drop. And so it's a powerful work, I feel, for me in my life, and I know that many, many listeners enjoy this piece.
Excellent. Well, this is Sapphire Song by Donald Stephen, performed by Wesley Ferreira, clarinet. And that was Sapphire Song by Donald Stephen, performed by Wesley Ferreira on clarinet. And we're talking about his new CD, Into the Green. Now, Wesley, I followed your career over many years, and you have several CDs. What number CD is this for you?
Well, this is the ninth. This is the ninth album that I've been a part of as a professional clarinetist. So, and that includes playing on other people's albums as well. But this is my fifth solo album or piece where album that I'm featured on. So
yeah, it's a lot of work, and I'm sure it was a great escape from the craziness of life during the pandemic to be able to create this art. And I also know that you were busy with another giant project, which is you'll be one of the hosts of the International Clarinet Festival next summer in 2023. So tell me a little bit about what that festival is going to include, where it's going to be, and also how many emails you've gotten about this so far. Because I think it will go up to like 80,000 or something by the time it's all said and done.
Well, I'm ready for all those emails. I'll say that. So I'm the artistic director of ClarinetFest 2023, which is the International Clarinet Association's annual conference. It's held in various locations around the world. And this coming year, 2023, is going to be the 50th anniversary celebration of the International Clarinet Association. So this ClarinetFest conference, which will be held in Denver, is going to be a major event, and one in which all clarinetists of all ages and experiences are welcomed to attend. We want to make this really a celebration of the clarinet and a celebration of the clarinet community. And so I have a team, an artistic leadership team that I'm working with here as well. And we are starting the process. We've already been working to plan a successful event. But now that we are within a year of those dates, which are July 5th through 9th, we are really, really starting to now hone in on the program, the offerings. Currently, there is a call for proposals. So anyone who's interested in performing or anyone who's interested in lecturing or giving a workshop is encouraged to visit the ICA, that's the International Clarinet Association's website. It's www.clarinet.org. And there you can find Clarinet Fest 2023, and then there is a way there to submit an application. But, of course, even if you're not going to come to play or perform, we want people to attend, to watch, to be part of a community. And there are going to be several new things that we do that haven't been done before at Clarinet Fest Conference. So it is a lot of work, but it's something that I know, it's something I'm excited about. It's something that allows me to give back to the clarinet community that's been so important in my life. As you know, having attended so many of those conferences and performing at so many of those yourself. So It's an exciting time.
It is, and a historically significant location because Clarinet Fest started well before you and I were born, and for many years it was held in Denver. And so to return to that place where Clarinet Fest was born is beautiful in that historical way, and also beautiful physically because it's such a beautiful place and a beautiful town. So I hope that you'll have a big turnout, and I know you will, and it'll be fantastic. So let's do one more bit of listening before we end today, and we're going to listen to a track called Invisible Duet, and it's by a composer named Frederick Hoberg. Tell me about this work.
Yeah, so this is one of my favorite pieces, and it so it's this work called Invisible Duet, where the clarinetist, myself, on the recording, is playing with another clarinet. It's another clarinet that's been recorded previously. This work was actually written for Martin Frost, who I think many clarinetists know, and so and it hasn't been recorded professionally previously, and so it was really exciting for me to put that out there. And this work is demanding. It's probably one of the more challenging works for a clarinetist on this album, and a really great different variety of sections, and just a really exciting one.
Absolutely. So we'll listen to the end of this work, and it's titled Invisible Duet by Frederick Hoberg, and this is clarinetist Wesley Ferreira.
Meditation begins. Prepare for the invisible duet. Well done, my friend. Please disassemble your instrument. Meditation begins.
And that was The Invisible Duet by Frederick Hoberg with clarinetist Wesley Ferreira. And it all comes from a new CD called Into the Green. And you can purchase this CD on Amazon, other places where music is sold. But you can also access this music on YouTube, which I know that students around the world appreciate that they're able to listen to so many new recordings these days on YouTube with their limited finances. So that's a fantastic way for people to access this music as well. I want to thank you, Wesley, for being here today, and I want to wish you all the best luck in your next year with all your creative projects and also the task of bringing ClarinetFest to Denver again.
Yeah, I appreciate you inviting me on, and it's just really great to talk about music, about the future, and about the things that I do.
Thank you again. You've been listening to Clarinet Corner, a production of Troy Public Radio and produced by Joey Hudson. I'm Tim Phillips, and there's a lot more where that came from. This is Troy Public Radio.